Hey everybody, this is John. I'm still down in my basement, still not out working in the bee yard yet, still recovering a little bit under weight restrictions, but this is a video that I promised to follow up with. This is lessons learned about cancer. And I know that everybody's cancer is different and the way we go about that is different, but once you've been diagnosed with cancer, once you have the shock, let's just talk about some of the things that go through your mind, go through your family's mind, go through your friends' minds, and maybe this will help you or somebody else that you know that's going through cancer help kind of cope with the effects of cancer. These are not lessons learned by order of importance. I'm going to try to make chapters for you so you can fast forward to the ones that you think are most interesting to you or most impactful for you or a friend of yours or a loved one, obviously. But I'm just going to go ramble through some of the ideas that first hit me with no priority level. I'm just giving you some lessons learned. Number one, people will treat you differently. Once you find out you have cancer and you tell other people that you have cancer, all of a sudden they treat you differently. I'll never forget the very first day one, when I found out we had cancer. A lot of my friends and family knew that I was going through the testing process to determine, how bad is the cancer, what degree is the cancer. The moment I found out, and shot a text out to some of my buddies, immediately they started treating me different. Even my own son unintentionally did it. We're just talking in the kitchen and he goes, "Hey, yeah, we're going to do that this summer." "Oh, wait, dad can't. He's got cancer." I mean, it's almost like, you're back in the Middle Ages and people are going, "Unclean, unclean, unclean." People will immediately exclude you from certain activities because they think you're going through something major like cancer. And so they treat you differently, not intentionally, but they will treat you differently. So what do once you know you have a buddy or a friend or a family member diagnosed with cancer? Well, here's what you do. You treat them just like you normally would. They have a disease. It's not contagious. It's not going to catch on to you. It's just a disease, and treat them normally. If you want to plan a fishing trip in the fall, but you're scared they can't go because they have cancer and might be going through treatment options, just tell them, "Hey, we're wanting to go on a fishing trip in the fall. Do you think you're going to be able to join us? Because we'd really like to have you there if you're able." Don't just exclude them. Don't make them think they're unclean. Treat them like you normally would treat them. Number two, so you don't know what to say. When somebody has cancer, when you get cancer, when somebody around you gets cancer, you might not know what to say. That's fine. Just say it. I had a text message set up, a text group set up where I had like 10 members, 10 family members and friends that were on there. They knew that I was going through testing. Once I had cancer, I shot it back. Cancer confirmed. It was positive. I've got cancer. And people shot back texts, "Hey, John, sorry to hear. We'll be praying for you. We'll be thinking about you," things like that. And I had one buddy call me that I've known for over 20 years. And he called me, and I'll just never forget it. It was the most awkward conversation I've ever had on a phone call in my life. He's like, he didn't know what to say. That's fine. He still called. Okay, I won't remember the people who didn't call. I will remember the two that did call, and especially the awkward conversation. It just meant a lot. I mean, it meant that they cared, they were concerned, and even though they didn't know what to say, even though it was just kind of like, "What's this mean? What happens?" They didn't know what to say, they didn't know what to ask, but they did call and check in. Some people came by and visited. That's great. If you don't know what to say to somebody that's got cancer, just say it. Just say it any way that you possibly can. Let them know that they're in your thoughts, they're in your prayers. Let them know that you're going to be there with them through thick and thin. So be that. I want to make sure that in the future, when somebody that I know gets cancer or any disease for that matter, I want to make sure that I'm the one that will call, that I'm the one that will come by and have that awkward conversation just to let them know that they're cared for. Be a person that calls, be a person that stops by. Cancer isn't contagious, so let them know that you're going to be there for them. The next one, news travels fast. I live in a small town. I live outside of a small town. When I say small town, I mean 900 people. So news travels fast. If I told 3 people that I have cancer, that means 9 know. And then those 9 will tell others. And before too long, most of the small town knows that I've got cancer. And I'd show up at the gas station, run into some buddies, and, "Hey, how's it going?" "Well, hey, John, you're looking good." "Well, thanks. Don't I always look good?" What they were saying is they were expecting me to walk in chemo treatments and radiation treatments, and they were just saying, "Hey, you look good. but they didn't want to they didn't want them to know that they knew that I had cancer. But I knew that they knew that I had cancer. So why just spill the beans? News travels fast. I made that video before, you may have seen, telling everybody that I had it, only because everybody already knew that I had it. And I got tired of people playing games with me. I'd rather people know that, hey, John, I heard you had cancer, than just to act like, they're trying to, get on their tiptoes and not really express the fact that, let me know that they knew. They knew. So don't just tell me I look good. That's great. It's probably a lie, but don't say that. Hey, you look good. You look good. Yeah, that's an awkward conversation in a gas station. Cancer is exhausting. You've got doctor's appointments. In between doctor's appointments, we're dealing with this as a family. We're trying to go online, learn as much about it as possible, what it's like. We're doing YouTube research. At some point in time, the cancer patient, gets sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they don't always want to talk about it. I've seen more doctors in the last 6 months of this year than I have in my entire life combined. You've got oncologist visits, you've got scans, treatment options, all kinds of second opinions, third opinions, all kinds of blood work. You just get tired of it. And so people want to talk to you about cancer, and you're like, I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about something else. We had something in our lives before cancer. Why can't we talk about something else besides cancer? My wife ended up having to field all the calls. So our family members would call in after every doctor's appointment, and they would call my wife directly because they knew I was tired of talking about it. Cancer can absorb all of your thoughts, all of your time, all of your mental energy. You just get sick and tired of talking about it. Cancer is not embarrassing. I had one person tell me, well, John, why don't you want to talk about it? Is it embarrassing? No. I'm not sure how anybody could come to that conclusion. Maybe because it deals with a male body part in my case. Every male has a prostate. Why should I be embarrassed? How about testicular cancer? If you get testicular cancer, are you going to be embarrassed? Why should you be embarrassed? Lung cancer? Prostate cancer? Breast cancer? No, cancer is not embarrassing. Now, some of the side effects from cancer can be somewhat embarrassing. Is being incontinent after surgery embarrassing? Maybe. Is erectile dysfunction and the ways to treat it embarrassing? Possibly, and I sure don't want to discuss this with my children. Cancer itself is not embarrassing. If you have cancer, don't be embarrassed about it. Please don't be embarrassed about it. I know that some of the side effects may be embarrassing to you. Losing your hair may be embarrassing. Losing a breast may be embarrassing. Losing your prostate may be embarrassing. And having some of these side effects, such as, erectile dysfunction or incontinence, could be embarrassing. But cancer itself is a horrible, horrible disease. It's not embarrassing. Don't be embarrassed by it. If you know somebody that has cancer around you, don't treat them as if they should feel embarrassed. And if you are the cancer patient, please don't be embarrassed about it. It's a disease. A lot of us are going to have cancer before the day's over with, or before our lives are over with. So make sure you're not being embarrassed and secluded. But I don't know how anybody could come to that point. But since somebody brought it up to me, I thought it was worthwhile sharing with you. Cancer is not embarrassing. The next one, talk to others going through the same thing that you are. Talk with others that may have the same type of cancer. Talk with families that have a member of their family going through the same thing. There are support groups out there. I did not join a support group. I have no intention of joining a support group, but I was lucky. They caught mine at an early stage in my life. It was never a matter of life and death. It could be if I didn't get it treated. Several doctors I talked to said, you may have 7 years. Some people go into the doctor's office and they say, you may have months. So everybody's cancer could be completely different. But if you're going through cancer, please talk with somebody. Talk with somebody that's going through it, what their experience is like. You may want a support group. You may need a support group. I had enough family and friends around there to take care of me that I didn't feel a support group was necessary. But certainly, if you have a more serious form of cancer, you may want to consider going to a support group. You may want to consider having your family member or friend encourage them to join a support group. Talking with people who actually went through it, survived, or maybe learn more about the side effects of different treatment options, it's a good thing. Find somebody that's going through the same type of pain or has gone through the same type of pain, and it may just help you with your emotional energy and stress levels. The next one's stages of grief. Now, from the emergency responder guide, I took an EMR class earlier this year. There's really 5 stages of grief. You've got denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Now, I never went through the denial stage. When the PSA scores kept rising and rising and rising, and when I finally had a biopsy and the biopsy came back showing signs of cancer, I didn't deny it. Anger, yeah, I was angry. I mean, not at God, not at the world. I was angry because it was a nuisance having to do all these things, having to go into doctor's office, having to go to multiple visits and multiple consultations and multiple scans. It was a nuisance, and I hated every moment of that. But it wasn't really a true anger stage. Bargaining, that's when you say, well, if I do this, I'll do this. Now, I did watch some YouTube videos and ways to help reduce your PSA levels and help to maybe get rid of some cancer. And I changed some food in my diet and some of the things, the vitamins I was taking. It didn't seem to help. I didn't put a whole lot of emphasis on the bargaining stage. Depression, was I depressed? I was certainly down in the dumps at times. I got sick and tired of talking about cancer and having to go through this whole mess. And I can only feel for those of you that have much more serious forms of cancer than I did. I certainly feel for you. And I understand the depression. I understand the bargaining. I got to acceptance in terms of where I was. I've got it. I got to do something about it. I don't have a choice. And so the two, I went through anger and acceptance more than the other 3 of denial, bargaining, and depression. But there are different stages of grief. If you know somebody that's going through cancer and you know that they're depressed, if you know that they're angry, if you know they're in denial, please coach them, mentor them, encourage them, be in this together. I mean, we're all together here. So please help them out and just understand the stages of grief if you're dealing with somebody that's got cancer, or maybe you yourself are dealing with cancer. Having going through cancer was a gentle, well, and not so subtle reminder. There's an expiration date on all of us. This thought may be much more intensive depending on the type of cancer you have. I mean, again, I was lucky. They told me if I did nothing, I may have about 7 years left of life if I did nothing. Some people, it's a matter of days, months. So there's an expiration date on all of us. The more severe the cancer is, the greater impact this will have on the cancer patient as well as family and friends. But we're going to expire. Everybody thinks that cancer is something that happens to somebody else until you get it or until somebody in your family gets it. Cancer is real. It needs to be dealt with. But regardless if it's cancer or just driving down the road, we all have an expiration date at some point in our lives. The next one, prioritize your life. Saying no after I got cancer became a whole lot easier. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. I've got 3 weeks until surgery. I'm not going to waste a weekend doing something I don't want to do. I'm going to make sure that my weekends are spent with my family, my friends, doing things that I loved and to enjoy. If you only have X amount of days left in life, make the most of them. Spend them doing the things that you love with the people that you love. The next one, connect or reconnect with your cancer patient. Send them gifts, send them cards, send them texts, drop off food, take them out to dinner. We actually had a pre-prostatectomy party. So before I went into surgery, the weekend before, we had a party and got all kinds of friends together. We had food and fun. Not everybody can say they had a prostatectomy party, but I can. So it was awesome to see the people I got cards from people I've not talked to in 30 years. I got gift packages in the mail to help me, sent me books, sent me snacks, sent me all kinds of things to do while I was recovering from surgery. It's nice. It felt great and humbling to know that people were out there to help out and cared about me. So please, I want to be that person. When I find out that one of my friends has cancer, I want to be the one that now will send cards. I never thought about that before. I don't know. Just cards aren't on my radar screen. I never thought about sending gift baskets or gift packages, and I received those. People drove up from Indianapolis, drove up an hour and a half north to drop off food for us. It was wonderful, and then just to reconnect with friends that I've not talked to in decades. That was great. I want to be that person that also reaches out and connects with people. So if you're going through this or you know somebody going through cancer, reconnect with them. Reach out to them, make them feel that they're cared for, let them know for sure that they're on your mind. The next one, people will offer help. take it if needed. All kinds of times people say, let me know if you need anything. Let me know if you need anything. Let me know if you need anything. And I'm not really a delegator so much. I don't really like asking for help or reaching out for help. But I do know if I need help, that those people who said, hey, let me know if you need anything, that wasn't just by the wayside. That was a true, let me know if you need anything. I had a guy text me last night. He's a member of our bee club. He's like, John, you need any help with the bees? I've had 2 or 3 or 4 different members of our bee club reach out directly, say, John, do you need anything? Can we come out and help you extract honey? Can we come out and do this? And I know they will. If I call them back and say, I need some help, I know they will be here to help. So when people say, hey, let me know if you need anything, if you do, let them know. They will help. Ask for prayers. Now, some people are believers, some people are not, whatever. But if people ask for prayers, give the prayer. When I went into surgery, I wasn't worried about surgery. Now, my wife corrected me on the last video. She said, John, you were scared lots of times. Yes, I was. I'd be watching YouTube videos late at night, learning about cancer. I go to bed and I am scared. I'm like, Roxanne, I don't want to do this. I really do not want to do this. I don't want to do any of this. And I was scared. But the day of surgery, we were covered in prayer so much, I had no concerns. I just wanted to get it over with. I wasn't worried. I just want to walk in and say, I'm done. Just take care of this. Let's get it over with. But people that were caring about me, sending positive vibes or sending up prayers, I knew I had nothing to worry about the day of surgery. It wasn't so easy leading up to the day of surgery. I was very worried, concerned, all kinds of things. But if you know somebody going through cancer, lift them up, send positive vibes, lift them up in prayer, put them on your church's prayer chain if you have one. Let them know that they're cared for, that you're worried about them, that you concern them, and let them know that, hey, I'm praying, I'm sending out positive vibes, that everything will go well the day of surgery. Just let them know you're doing that. It's a great way to help ease their emotional stress level. Again, humbled. I was so humbled for all the cards, the packages, the prayers, the comments on the YouTube video. It was great. Be sure you're doing that to everybody that's got cancer. And the last one I'm going to share today is that all cancer is different. Everyone's going to react differently. My cancer was not an immediate life threat. If I did nothing, I had at least 7 years to live. And at least they assume I had at least 7 years to live. Some forms of cancer are very aggressive. So the emotional strain, the spiritual strain, the physical strain that some cancer patients are going through is nothing in comparison to what I had. Prostate cancer is the number one cancer that men get. It's not uncommon, and it's for the most part treatable. Not always, but for the most part, it's treatable. Some other forms of cancer out there are not so easily treated. And you have to go through a lot more exhausting and painstaking treatments to even get a slightly better result. Just remember that when you're talking to a cancer patient, keep in mind the type of cancer they're going to have, or they do have, and conduct conversations accordingly. Let them know you care about them. Let them know that it's not contagious. Don't exclude them from activities, okay? They're not unclean. Okay? Keep them involved. And talk about things besides cancer. You had a relationship before cancer. Why do we have to always talk about cancer? Don't. If you're a friend of a cancer patient, a loved one of a cancer patient, come up with other ideas to talk about. Come up with other activities to do. Maybe it's to go to a movie. Maybe it's to go fishing. Maybe it's to have a nice dinner or something like that. But all cancer is different. So these are just my lessons learned. These are things that I probably would never have even thought about had I not gone through cancer myself. Again, we always like to think that cancer is something that happens to somebody else until it happens to you or a loved one close to you. So keep these things in mind. If you've got any other ideas, any other lessons learned you'd like to share, please leave them below in the comments. I liked reading the comments before. It really was a benefit to me when I posted my first cancer video. I hope to get back to beekeeping videos very, very soon. But in the meantime, if you are going through cancer, I hope this is a benefit. If you know somebody going through cancer, maybe you want to share this with them or share this with a loved one around them so that they have some ideas of how to handle the attitude from that cancer patient. This video could probably be 30 minutes long, but it's not going to be. I'm going to make it short. So these are the primary takeaways that I've got in terms of lessons that I've learned about having cancer and how I want to treat others when I find out that they have cancer. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for your prayers and your positive vibes that you sent up for me. And I just pray that this video can have a help with somebody else that's going to suffer from cancer. Maybe they are currently suffering from cancer, or from those people around them. Just encourage them, lift them up, and don't always talk about cancer. All right. Thanks, everybody.